Hello everybody. We're going to start this off with some quite challenging questions related to units and length, and you're going to have some prior knowledge really to get going on this from the previous units of work. So in the first example, a school canteen buys a gallon of fruit juice and it sells the fruit juice in paper cups that contain 150 millilitres of drink. So how many cups can be filled? So the first one we're going to need to know is how to get from gallons to millilitres. So we know that 1 gallon is approximately 4.5 litres. And we should also know that each litre is 1,000 millilitres. So we could say that a gallon is actually 4,500 millilitres. Now, so really what we've got to say is how many 150s are going to go into 4,500. So if I do 4,500 and I divide by 150, I get 30. So the answer to this question is 30 cups. Now that's quite a nice easy one, but they do get a bit more challenging. So have a look at this question now. So some students take part in a 20-mile sponsored relay run where each student runs 3,000 meters and then another student takes over. If each student only runs once, how many students are needed to complete the run? So first of all, we should look at the distance that we've got here. So we've got 20 miles. Now, if we're talking about students running in terms of meters, it makes sense to try to convert these miles into meters. Well, the first thing we need is we know that 5 miles is equal to 8 kilometers. So if we start off with our 20 miles and then we divide by 5 and multiply by 8, we're going to get a conversion of those 20 miles into kilometers. So if I do that, I get 32 kilometers. So 20 miles is the same as 32 kilometers. And we also should know that a kilometer is 1,000 meters. So if I wanted to convert this into meters, I'm going to have 32,000 meters. So that's how long this race is. So what we need to do now is to divide that by 3,000 to see how many of these students we're going to need. So 32,000 divided by 3,000 is going to be 10, but there's going to be a remainder on that as well, isn't there? There's going to be 2,000 left. So we're going to have 10 students that are going to run the full 3,000, plus a student at the end who runs the last 2,000. So in total, that means we're going to need 11 students. Okay, in the final example, let's have a quick look at this, a bit more complicated again. A technology teacher has a 50-yard roll of glass fiber tape. For a project, each student in the class will need 80 centimeters of tape. There are 30 students in the class. What length of tape will be left over? So we should do this in two parts. We should look at how much tape there is on the roll, and then we should look again separately at how much the students will need. And we want to have this in the same sort of measure, so I suggest we convert everything here to meters. So we're going to start off with the 50 yards. Now we need to know how to get from yards to other measurements. So I do know that 1 yard is 3 feet. And I also know that one of these feet, so a foot, is going to be equal to 0.3 meters. So we'll use those conversions to get to where we want to be. But you need to know these before starting the question. You have to have some reference points here. So 50 multiplied by 3 will convert this 50 yards into feet. So I know that 50 yards is the same as 150 feet. And now if I want to get my 150 feet into meters, I'm going to have to start with that 150 and multiply by 0.3. And so that's going to convert my 150 feet into 45 meters. So that's the really important part done. That's the hard bit done. That's how many meters I've got on my 50-yard roll of fiberglass tape. Now, the second half of this question, we should look at the students. So we've got 30 students and they're all using 80 centimeters of tape. So if I want to work out the total length of tape needed in terms of centimeters, I'm going to need to do 80 multiplied by 30. So 80 multiplied by 30 is 2,400, and that was in centimeters. So converting that into meters, well, it should be obvious that that is going to be the same as 24 meters. There's 100 centimeters in a meter. So we know that there's 45 meters on the tape. We know that the students took 24. So if we do 45, take away 24, we're going to have our answer. There are 21 meters left of tape on the roll. Okay, good luck with the questions.